Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Andrew Kavanaugh. I want to say thank you for coming back to Kavanaugh's Corner. Today in the show, I'm going to be talking about a set of movies, or at least half a set of movies that I've been wanting to review for a long time now, and I've been holding off. Now, this set came out, about a year ago or so now, and it was actually supposed to coincide with the release of the new James Bond film, No Time to Die. Of course, we all know that that was heavily delayed, but finally, next week, we are finally getting a new James Bond film after many months of delays due to COVID-19 and just a lot of stuff going on in the world, but we're finally getting it. So today I'm doing the first review here, the first part of two reviews, I should say, for the Daniel Craig collection. This is the James Bond collection here. It only has the 4 so far Daniel Craig films in it, which is Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and Spectre. And again, it's actually an 8-disc set, so you get the 4 films in 4K, you get them on standard Blu-ray, and you get a digital code for all 4 films. And honestly, this was a set that I was going to review last year, and then the movie got delayed. And then it got delayed again, and again, and again. And so now that we're finally getting this movie in theaters, my review will coincide with the release of No Time to Die, which is probably my most heavily awaited theatrical release of the year, hands down. This is a movie that I honestly at one point think we weren't going to get, but I will also be reviewing that next week on the channel. I do have my tickets to see it on October 7th, so definitely going to be reviewing that. I am seeing it in IMAX. But today, I'm actually going to be talking about the first 2 films in this set here. The first being Casino Royale, and the second being its direct sequel, Quantum of Solace. And I'm going to be talking about the picture quality, the audio quality, and just how much of a step up is it from the standard Blu-ray. So starting with Casino Royale, Casino Royale is honestly one of my favorite Bond films. I remember seeing it the day it came out in theaters and not knowing really what to expect. I wasn't really completely on board with Daniel Craig being James Bond. I was a big fan of Pierce Brosnan. And honestly, I was completely blown away with his performance. At the time, it really was my favorite Bond film, up until probably Skyfall, which is probably my current, one of my favorites, honestly. It's hard to really narrow it down to just one, but Casino Royale really is just a phenomenal film. Not just a Bond film, but just a great film overall. Now, this new 4K, all 4 movies on this set have the movies in HDR10 and Dolby Vision. And honestly, that Dolby Vision, I did watch it in Dolby Vision. The Dolby Vision provides a lot to the picture in this film. It really does make it a lot more vivid in terms of color. It doesn't drastically change the picture in terms of its color, but it does provide a nice uptick. And the contrast and everything is greatly improved. The darker scenes look much better on this 4K than they did before. But overall, that Dolby Vision really does provide a lot to extend that color spectrum. And it looked phenomenal. I mean, I really have to say. Now, the Blu-ray, the older Blu-ray, was definitely no slouch. It's honestly one of the better Blu-rays that's ever come out. And but this 4K is just a little bit of a step up. There is a little bit of film grain throughout. It's not extremely heavy. The black and white sequence does have a little more film grain than the rest of the film, but I think that's just the way it was done, honestly. It's meant to look a lot more gritty. And overall, though, the rest of the film definitely has a much more rounded color palette. It's not in your face, but the colors definitely do get a boost throughout the film. The scenes in the casino, the scenes at Casino Royale when they're playing, that poker tournament, it really does seem a lot warmer. The colors do seem a little bit more on the yellow side, I noticed in that scene, in those scenes, I should say. Blood, especially, definitely seems a lot more red in this, as odd as that is. The scene where Bond is getting tortured, which is kind of a hard scene to watch, but it definitely benefits from this 4K disc just because you get that darker sense in that room that he's in when Le Chiffre is torturing him. It's a little scarier looking, but overall the film really does benefit a lot from the HDR on this disc. The Dolby Vision just really helps out a lot. Is it a massive improvement over the Blu-ray? I wouldn't say it's massive, but it's a really nice uptick. I would say it's just about enough to make it worth buying, especially if you're a fan of the film. Also, it does come with two versions of the film. There is an extended unrated cut of the film on the 4K disc, and honestly, I really didn't see what the big difference was. I'm sure there are differences. It had been a while since I've seen the theatrical version, or any version of the movie at all. I kind of waited till this time to kind of rewatch them. But it is nice to have, if you were curious about that slightly extended cut. It is there. Now, the audio on the disc, sadly, the audio is exactly the same as the Blu-ray. It's a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 track. They did not upgrade the audio to like Dolby Atmos or DTS-X or anything like that. So it is the same tried and true 5.1 mix, which is fine. It's really great. I really think the movie could have benefited from a Dolby Atmos or a DTS-X mix, especially the Bond films where there's so much action and there's so many effects and sound effects and stuff. But it is good. It works. It is kind of disappointing, though, that we didn't get a surround on that. But the picture quality alone is worth the upgrade for Casino Royale, I would say. Moving on to Quantum of Solace, however, Quantum definitely leaves a little bit to be desired for the 4K. I did not notice much of an upgrade at all going from the standard Blu-ray to the 4K disc. The picture quality is really not that much of a bump up as it is in Casino Royale. The colors look a little bit better with the Dolby Vision, but it's really not anything to write home about. It is just, it's a slight uptick in the least sense possible. I noticed that oranges, the color yellow is used a lot in the desert scenes and stuff like that. It's definitely a more yellow film for some reason. You know, I'll say Quantum is probably one of my least favorite Bond films of all time. It really does nothing for me. I almost feel like when I'm watching the movie, the director is constantly trying to do something to underwhelm the viewer, like, you know, like, let's have a shootout with no audio, or let's have a car chase, but let's cut it in a way that you have no idea what's going on. It baffles the mind how badly that film was handled. Even though I do enjoy some aspects of it, it really doesn't do anything for me, and this 4K disc really didn't make me appreciate the movie much at all. The only thing I'd say about it is, as I mentioned, the colors are just slightly better, but it's not as big of an uptick as it is in Casino Royale. The movie just looks pretty much the same as it did on Blu-ray. I really didn't notice anything too crazy about it. It just seemed to be just slightly more vibrant in the color palette, but other than that, I didn't notice any enhancements in depth. I didn't notice any enhancements in black levels. It's just kind of a very, very middle-of-the-road 4K. It's in this set if you get it, but I would say, you know, if you have the standard Blu-ray of Quantum, it probably isn't worth buying separately if you're going to buy all 4 films separately. I would say, you know, maybe skip Quantum, which is really sad. The audio track, same as Casino, is the same 5.1 DTS mix we had on the standard Blu-ray, which again is pretty solid. It's a nice sound mix. It's nothing wrong, but again, you know, this movie could have benefited a little bit more from a DTS-X or a Dolby Atmos, especially the car chase at the beginning, how it drops you right in. It sounds great on the DTS, but it's, you know, sadly, that second film is really not worth the 4K upgrade, which kind of breaks my heart because I think the expectations were set so high from Casino Royale, because that one actually is really a great upgrade. This one, you know, Quantum, not so much. Again, it does also come with the standard Blu-ray, so if you do get the set, like I said, you do get all 4 films in both formats and a digital copy. But that's pretty much it, honestly. There's really not much else to report on that 4K disc. I would say, you know, if you're going to buy them separately, definitely pick up Casino Royale, skip Quantum. Now, next week, I'm going to be reviewing Skyfall, which is one of my favorite Bond films, and Spectre, which I have kind of mixed feelings about. But I have a feeling those are going to look a little bit better than the 2 I reviewed today, so please stay tuned for that review. And if you're interested in picking up this set or any of the Bond films in 4K, I'm going to put a link below to my Amazon Associates account. And if you do purchase any of those discs, I do get a little kickback here on the channel, so I do appreciate it if you do that. And if you do like this video, or if you like any of my videos, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel below so I can continue to bring you content like this. And also, I hope you like my snazzy suit that I wore for this. I like to get a little dressed up for the James Bond reviews, otherwise I feel like I'm I'm not doing it justice. So, thank you again for everything. Please stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Take it easy.